welcome to the course on digital transformation and Industry 4.0 and its technologies. Disruptive technologies introduced at an unprecedented rate are driving the Industry 4.0 revolution, and companies that has been successfully harness the potential of these technologies can enjoy the exponential growth. So in this course, you learn about how in VUCA world, which stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world, digital transformation is transforming companies to adopt new technology, thereby to evolve, sustain, and grow in Industry 4.0. Also, you can get an understanding of digital transformation technology which is running this world, like cloud, IoT, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data, and blockchain, which is of course the Web 3.0 as of now. For digital transformation, it's important to understand about digital disruption. So what is digital disruption? Digital disruption is an effect that changes the fundamental expectation and behavior in a culture, in a market, in industry, or process that is caused by or expressed through digital capabilities, channels, and assets. So meaning, there could be maybe your competitor or someone else comes with a product, and that will change the entire scenario of the market. So they have adopted, the competitor or someone else have adopted a technology, and that will become kind of a runaway success. So that way, a company could be, another company could be impacted because of the new technology. So that is digital destruction, which has been caused due to the digital transformation which is adopted by your competitor or a different company. So examples, if you look at it, computers, just think about maybe prior 1980s, there's no personal computers, there's no laptops. Of course, laptop came in 1990 onwards. Before that, it was all mainframe computers and huge size. There are very few. So it's all manual ledgers and was there. But boom, from 1980 onwards, the adaptability was so very high. So yeah, so even though in case of computers, another, what I meant was, even though for computers could not have affected a direct product, but yes, the job of manually maintaining something was not to be there once computer got replaced, the manual ledger entry and so on. But ideal example could be a digital cameras. So prior digital cameras, there are film-based traditional cameras, and once digital cameras got adaptability, that is around year 2000, the traditional cameras which was there for maybe 50 years or so just disappeared in a matter of few years. So that is a real digital destruction. And again, the smartphones versus maybe pager and the ordinary mobile phones. When smartphones with Android came up in around 2010, the old model phones, the regular phones, mobile phone got replaced. So ideal example you got to think about is the digital camera versus the traditional camera. There is a interesting case study about how company like just Kodak, which was a kind of a Fortune 500 company, just disappeared because they were late in introducing digital cameras, because they were, they were producing enough revenue from the traditional film-based cameras. So they were always trying to do away with digital cameras. Similarly, similar example could be cloud-based solution versus on-premises solution in the computer industry. So that is, we'll take it at a later stage about the on-premises and the cloud. But for now, just think about when digital destruction, how companies like Kodak went out of business due to bringing out a new product with a digital technology. So all this based on physical devices. There is, because computer is a physical device, printer, digital camera, all are physical devices. So that has caused the digital destruction. There is others as well, like email or online learning, on-demand courses. What you're learning now. I mean, this was not there prior 2010. And email, of course, was before 2000. It was not there. Online learning was not there prior 2010. So in this case, there is no physical devices. I mean, physical devices are not sold. It is through just the web technology. Once you have internet access with a computer, you can always access emails. Similarly, the online learning. So this one is virtual technology, depends on the technology. And of course, the ride sharing. The Olas, in case in ride sharing, in India it is called Olas. For abroad, you would have heard about Uber, and similarly Amazon. So B2C. So this is a combination of virtual technology and physical. Why is that physical quantity coming in? Because when you order in Amazon, even though you're ordering it online, they still have to depend on the supply chain for procurement of goods and shipping across to your doorsteps. So there is a physical importance or significance is there. Uber, yes, ride sharing, you got to book the cab, but still the cab, which is kind of a physical or a touch point, need to be there towards servicing your requirement, because they have to send the cab to your house and you travel by that. So in this case, yeah, there is a dependency of physical and virtual technology. Here there's just the web, whereas in case of email, online learning, it is just the technology part and you get the solution out of it. So, and why is it digital destruction? Yes, the online courses it is estimated it's going to be in next few years, it's going to be billions of dollars would be on online learning. In fact, many of the universities have started offering online courses compared to physical presence of students in the classroom. So maybe, who knows, maybe in 5 to or 10 years down the line, with the evolution of the online learning, physical presence in the classroom could be significantly reduced. Maybe particularly if the course is on computers, management, you can always learn through online. Some of the subjects, if it is something like medical or electrical or electronics, building constructions, which requires a physical device or physically it needs to be present there, then online learning may not be effective. But whereas in case of management education or computer science education, the online learning would be a best bet, and over a period of time probably there could be a segregation, like which courses which needs to be offered physically, or which are the courses on which the online learning would be better. There'll be evolution maybe in another 7 to 10 years, and there'll be a marked difference or booming of online on-demand courses as we progress with time. So all this digital transformation, which we say, is happening due to digital disruption. That's the point I wanted to convey. Thank you. Stay tuned. Now let's look at what is digital transformation. So digital transformation, generally called as DX, is the adoption of digital technology by an organization. Digital technology could be anything like maybe a web-based one using internet, or it could be based on any electronic goods. So which again, all this, if you look at it, all this uses microcomputer or computer chips and associated circuit. Maybe it could be a hardware or it could be a software. So adoption of digital technology is called as the digital transformation. Common goal for implementation or to improve efficiency, value, innovation. So something like anywhere, anytime learning, just like the online learning courses, anywhere, anytime learning, because you don't need to be physically present in a particular place at a particular point of time. So you can get trained by the world-class industry expert rather than just an academician. I can't say just an academician. Yes, they are also knowledgeable, but yeah, at certain point of time, industry experts can bring in industry related knowledge, which is otherwise it's going to be very difficult to learn, because generally industry expert may not have sufficient time or bandwidth to travel to an university. If it is a physical classroom, they might not have sufficient time bandwidth to go over there and teach the subject. So that way, I mean, you could be anywhere across the globe, but you could still learn from an expert, be it from an industry or be it even the best of best professor. You can learn from them through online learning. So it's kind of the online learning is kind of a digital transformation which was not there prior 2010. 2012 is what this transformation has happened. Maybe in another 5 years or 10 years, there is going to be enormous amount of absorption or adoption in case of online learning. An interesting point is post-pandemic, yes, the time of pandemic, yes, that is where there was exponential growth. People started using online learning because that was a kind of a forced one. But even otherwise, post-pandemic, not only just online learning, work from home or work from anywhere is being widely adopted. So post-pandemic, on an average, 70% of worldwide companies have increased its digitization effort. It is bringing down the importance of physical presence at a particular location. So that in case in future something happens, also the company so that it's going to be business as usual, whether it is there is some pandemic or some war, because prior 2020 nobody knew what is a lockdown. So a lockdown, the last 2 years, lockdown had become common. I mean, people were not able to move out freely just from their home itself, though they had to be stay put at the home. But still, if the business wants to go on, then yes, digital transformation can be the only approach through which business could be as usual. So that is where digital transformation is gaining significance post-pandemic as well. So 4 main areas of digital transformation. One is business process, called as business process automation, business model change, domain, and culture as well. So let's look at one by one briefly. Business process automation. You would have heard robotic process automation, the RPA, where we convert the manual operations found in procurement, supply chain, administrative functions, all that are automated. So instead of manually, say for example, you want to purchase a good, you need to send out a PO. So to send out a PO in purchase order, instead of manually entering it, if a certain conditions are met, like approval, amount approval, everything is done, PO is generated, have to be generated automatically. So all this process can be through process automation, robotic process automation, or called as RPA. So that is related to business process automation. Business model itself. This digital transformation is making the business model changes. Like earlier, I mean, prior 2005, it was all brick and mortar retail store. But then came Amazon. Then, I mean, each and every country has its own online stores these days. So this is last 15 years is what. So that's a business model from a brick and mortar, meaning from a real estate to an online, where online web-based one. So it's a kind of a total business model change. Another one is Netflix. How business transformation can be achieved through use of technology. They started offline service, delivered DVDs to customers, but ended up transforming one of the user stream videos on demand on computer screens and mobile devices instead. So now it is streaming videos through internet instead of DVD, because internet cost, the service provider cost has come down. So streaming videos is much effective, much cheaper compared to delivering DVDs. So that's a kind of a business model change altogether. Similarly, from brick and mortar stores to online stores like the Amazons. In case of India, it could be Flipkarts. So it's a business model change. All this happening due to digital transformation, of course. The another interesting one is domain transformation. If you look at an ideal example is Amazon. So Amazon, if you look at the history, they started as a bookseller, but are they doing it? But still their revenue is so very high, but they started with the booksellers, and then they started all the online retail store. Even that was didn't take off as expected. But then their cloud services, that is Amazon Web Services, like the virtual machines, having virtual machines is what over the web is what really caught up. I mean, because they were the first one, they had the first mover advantage. They now are reaping the benefit to compare to any of the other competitors, be it Microsoft, be it Google or Oracle. I mean, if it is infrastructure as a service, we look at what is cloud infrastructure as a service. If you look at the cloud services, they are cloud services creating virtual machines. Still, Amazon is a top leader, and of course, you have competitions. The rest are catching up as well, like the Microsoft, the Googles, Oracles. Oracle, I mean, that's an interesting one. I mean, they were all along was for on-premises, but then suddenly they found out that it's going to be very difficult to sustain without cloud. Somewhere around 2012, 13 or something, they started feeling that without cloud, their revenues would decline drastically. So they started moving product, their ERP product as software as a solution. They come out with infra service and many interesting offerings. They do offer now, Oracle, from a cloud standpoint. But all this was triggered by Amazon. So it is from a domain of bookseller, maybe from a retail industry, they moved into the computer industry or hardware software industry they moved. So that's a domain transformation, and it's all possible because of digital transformation. Otherwise, if it is regular brick and mortar, it's going to be highly difficult to expand in such a exponential way. Last but not the least, it's all about the cultural organization and transformation. That is towards better outcome, to provide better customer satisfaction. People, I mean, the companies undergo such kind of a cultural organization transformation, which is, I mean, as a digital transformation. The digital transformation happens, the reason being they're able to satisfy customer needs quickly and efficiently as well. So that is the 4 areas. So one is, of course, business process automation, business model changes, and then comes domain transformation, and finally cultural and organizational transformation. So that's about digital transformation. We will get deeper into it. Thank you. Stay tuned. Let's now look at the significance of digital transformation. So the significance, it is better to take an example and then understand between a company which did digital transformation and the company which hesitated to do digital transformation. So let's see what really happened and why that happened, and finally what had happened to that company. So the company I'm referring to is that Kodak and Fujifilm. So Fujifilm as well as Kodak are two companies which had traditional cameras, and not only traditional cameras, they had the 2 film companies which made film rolls as well. But Kodak movement is gone. Today, Fujifilm thrives on massive reorganization with digital transformation. So if you look at the information on the history, in 2000, just before the digital transition really happened, sales related to film accounted for 72% with Kodak. Film meaning there used to be in a traditional camera, it is based on films. It's called photo films. So 72% of it was for Kodak, and of course the balance was through Kodak cameras. And so film accounted for 72% of Kodak revenue and 60% of its operating income, against 60% and 66% for Fujifilm. In case of Fujifilm, it was 60%, which means majority are from their photo films, which Kodak made and Fujifilms made. And if you look at the graph, I mean, till up to around 2001 is what was the peak. And ideally, Kodak refused to change. Not, I would say refused to change. I mean, they tried digital cameras, but they were not pushing it. They don't want to spoil the market with films. So they were like a kind of a little bit of lethargic, not to push it hard, digital camera sales, but still all the advertisement, marketing, everything, the push was still for the film. But people, because of the computers, but initially, as mentioned here, initially market didn't vanish, it changed. Following internet and personal computer democratization of 90s, consumers started purchasing digital cameras. When you purchase digital cameras, then there is no use of the photo films. That is the point. But still, they were Kodak was focusing on making photo films more. If you see the decline, I mean, from 2002 onwards, in less than 10 years, there is a sharp decline. So that is what, I mean, Fujifilm, once they know that it is going to be short-lived, they diversified really, and the result was Fujifilm diversified variety of performance, high-performance films, essentially on making LCD panels for TV, computers and smartphones. They focused on that. So that's where they are still able to come out of it, whereas Kodak was focusing on photo films, and they were not getting into, they had Kodak had the cameras which was traditional cameras. They did I mean, introduce digital cameras, but whereas the other folks like Nikon or Sony, they didn't have more than the traditional cameras. They were focusing only on the digital cameras, selling digital cameras, because they had the backing of the digital technology from making other electronic devices like computers and so on. So finally, Kodak had to file bankruptcy in 2012. So this is the ideal case. If you're not transforming, if you're not performing digital transformation, you can very well go out of business. It's not only significance, you can be in a short period of time, you can be going out of business. So that's where digital transformation plays a significant role. Thank you.